And with us right now, we've got Judy DeFeo. Judy, you're the founder and CEO of Jadde Financial Solutions, and it's on the web it's Jade with an extra D. We'll have to ask where the name came from. Jadde. So the website is jaddefs.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Judy.
Thank you, Josh, for having me.
So Jade, since I pointed out, where's the name come from?
It's just the initials of my family. I'm not very creative, and when I decided overnight to start a business, it was quickly get a name, and I wanted to just use my kids' names, but it would have been ADD, and I didn't think that would be appropriate for a company dealing with numbers to be called ADD. So,
yeah, no, you typically don't want that in your in your financial professional.
Yeah.
Man, I keep meaning to get on your work, but I keep squirrel. You know? I've got it in the family, so I can make jokes about it. So.
No, same here. We're all good.
So, Judy, you are based in New Jersey, and you are a former VP of Goldman Sachs.
Yes.
For 14 years,
yes.
In fact.
Yeah.
So, what was that time like?
It was great. I meet a lot of people who have nothing good to say about the corporate world, but I had a great time there. I learned so much. I worked with great people, and I did not want to leave. I'm probably the only person who resigned crying, and it's just family reasons. Raising kids, it was difficult. So I left, but I really enjoyed it, and I keep in touch with some of the people, who I worked with then. Great people.
Yeah. What skills did you get there, or how did that prepare you for to start Jadde?
That's such a great question. So, just from a high level, time management, I learned the value of having to spend money on the correct tools to do the job. So not to be afraid to purchase a software or technology. Not to work with software and hardware that's 10 years old, to be efficient. Teamwork at the time, teamwork was ingrained in us. I learned that our employees are our greatest assets. Just the hierarchy of an organization. Just so many things from that level. And then just, as far as specific job function, I did similar type of work, only a lot more digits, working with money at Goldman. So that I'm working with now. But, it's a lot about understanding financial statements and what they mean. We did I did a lot of budgeting and financial work on the firm's money, not client money. I dealt with the firm side. So it was just trying to really, when I started my business, thinking about how I'm going to do this, the light bulbs went off when I realized, looking at QuickBooks and saying, this is really just a little rinky-dink system compared to what we worked at Goldman. Yeah. And if I just shave off a couple of digits here, instead of working in the billions and work in the hundreds of thousands and millions, we're good. So, there were a lot of comparisons. I just had to bring it down a notch.
So on your website, you provide a guide, and it's about the kind of the biggest money leaks within your accounting system for I would imagine mostly small business, right?
Right.
That you work with.
All small business. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So please share those with us.
Sure.
Because I don't want any money leaks.
Okay, no, definitely not. And there's so many ways. So, and I'm just going off of memory right now. I don't have it in front of me, but a couple of things that we see, especially when we take on new clients, is that their accounts have never been reconciled. So they just have poor records. And I always say it's amazing that they got this far in business with sloppy or no record keeping.
Oh, man.
So you want to have good books. And it's okay, you don't have to do them yourself. Same way I outsource things that I don't like to do or that I'm not good at doing, that aren't part of my day-to-day job, like marketing. That's for me, that's pain. You need to.
I feel like there's a bit of ego from founders and CEOs, of small companies or startups, where they think that, well, in order for me to be proficient at being a small business owner, I have to do this, or it doesn't get done, or it's not. For some reason, it's just a weird block I see.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you've seen this too.
You do. And
goodness, just outsource this.
Exactly.
It's not as expensive as you think. You can get great bookkeepers. They're just like, other trained professionals are, yes, going to charge more than a VA, and rightly so. You want to pay them that amount. But this is not, and just from my own experience.
Yeah.
This is not a nice to have done thing. This is part of business. And if your numbers are all screwed up, good luck getting a PPP loan. Good luck, anything else, any other business adulting stuff that you're going to need. And then certainly you're going to pay for it come tax time, which I've been there. Correct. I've been there. And I know what that's like to now say, oh crap, I've got about 8 hours of work here before I can even think about getting my stuff put together for my tax preparer.
Yeah. And it's not always ego. Sometimes just in the beginning of a business, you start a business, you have to do everything. You don't have the funds to do everything. So you do your marketing, you do your IT, you do your books, and you do the main piece of your business. You do your HR. But as you start to grow, you need to outsource it because, if I'm going to spend 8 hours trying to write an HR manual or more, because it would take me a lot longer than that, or 8 hours trying to fix an IT problem, that is not a good use of my time. I need to be spending my time on bringing in clients and doing the work that we do, not fixing computers, not writing HR manuals, not drafting up marketing things because I'm not creative. So you have to outsource things, but it takes time for a startup. But once you can, you really should. And when it comes to the bookkeeping and the accounting piece, you have to ask yourself, can you afford, not so much can you afford to, but can you afford not to? Because there's so many things that accountants and bookkeepers can help you to move the needle on your business and to grow it forward. And if you don't know your numbers, you're not going to be able to, you're just going to get so far, you're not going to get to that next level. So just getting back to those money leaks there, know your numbers, reconcile your bank accounts. We take on new clients. It amazes me that their accounts haven't been reconciled in years and they're still in business. If you're not reconciling your books every month, you don't know that the numbers and the data that you have in your accounting system is correct. You may think it's correct, but there could be an entry in there that doesn't belong. There could be missing entries, and then you might not be able to take advantage of those tax deductions because you did not include it all in your accounting software, and you hit the button and you created a P&L and a balance sheet and you gave it to your tax preparer and they did a tax return on that, but yet nothing was reconciled, so there were missing deductions in there. You're losing money.
Yeah.
So that's,
you really will. You really will. Most tax preparers, can you talk, Judy, about how tax preparers operate, and if a little bit more about the consequences of like just showing up with a shoebox and not having done all of this work and properly classifying everything through the year, what that can mean.
Yes, that's it means a loss of money to you. It means you're paying the IRS and you're paying your state more money for sure. So we don't do tax prep, but we work very closely with our clients' tax preparers. And so none of our clients are walking into their tax preparer with a shoebox full of receipts, but we've had clients come to us with that, prospects come to us, and we don't work with paper. So we'll immediately get them set up. But if you're walking into your tax preparer with a shoebox full of receipts, I could tell you that in their head, whether they're smiling or not, to you, they are now miserable, because the last thing they want to do is deal with that shoebox full of paper. And they're probably going to take that and they're going to enter it into whether they put it in Excel or they put it in an accounting program. If they're going to organize it for the taxpayer, for the client, first of all, they're going to charge them an arm and a leg to do so, because that is going to be a lot of time. And they're not going to know if something's missing. How are they going to know? Let's talk about a contractor who's building a house, and all these extra expenses come up, and they, the subcontractors or the employees, they go to Home Depot or they go to Lowe's, and they have a pocket full of receipts. They come back, they dump it on the table. Oh, but maybe a couple got crumpled up. Maybe some fell out in their car and never made it on that person's desk. If they're not keeping track of that, the CPA who's doing the taxes is not going to know there's missing receipts. The business owner is not going to know the profitability on the job, because they're not going to know that everything is there if they don't have a receipt. It's just sloppy. When you have everything neat and organized, it's amazing. It is so powerful to see in black and white those dollars and the profitability or loss. Could be a loss, but hoping it's profits. If you know the profitability per job that if you're somebody who works on project work, and you know the profitability per job, per project, you can accurately cost out your next job. If you don't know that, how do you accurately cost out your next job if you don't even know what your profits were in this job? You may think you know, but when you put it in black and white, it is so powerful.
Yeah. Judy, I'd say that there are two positions that you can hire for that I would say probably have the most immediate and direct result on money in your business. And number one would be, I'd say, someone who's really effective, obviously, at drawing in more sales, more revenue,
right.
And then someone who is really effective in helping you keep more of your money.
Exactly.
And that would be your bookkeeping professional.
Yeah.
So you offer, could you talk a little bit more about ROI from hiring great financial services?
So hiring us?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So, sure. So, we don't just, we're not about data entry. So as I said, we're pretty much paperless. We're very tech savvy, and we try and create the right solution set up for our clients. So all our clients are on QuickBooks. And then we might have some other programs that integrate with QuickBooks to give our clients a full solution. And that could be time tracking, it could be expense reporting, it could be bill paying. There's a whole host of them out there. There's certain reporting apps that we use. So we try and make a complete solution. Some clients also have industry-specific software that integrates. Contractors may use something else. Businesses tracking inventory may use something, and we try and get it all to talk to QuickBooks. So when we work with our clients, yes, we're doing the bookkeeping. Every client, we reconcile their accounts. We won't work with a client unless we're doing that function. So all accounts are reconciled monthly, but we're in our clients' accounts just about every week, most of them, because especially with QuickBooks Online, it's the live data comes in. So why wait to the end of the month? We're in there all the time. But what we do and what we focus on is once the accounts are reconciled and the books are, quote unquote, closed for the month, we get on the phone with our clients. We go over those reports. We make sure that they understand what happened that previous month. We also have clients who sign up for our what we'll call our CFO services, where we kind of act as an outsourced fractional CFO, if you will. And the difference between having that level of service and having our other services is basic bookkeeping and accounting is reporting historical information, which is great information. You need to understand what happened. But when we get into our CFO services, then we are looking at the future.
Right.
So now we're doing
Yes.
projections. Let's take this historical information. How's that going to affect us going forward? Or what are your plans? What are your goals? We make sure that our clients have goals, because if you don't know what the end result is, how can you create a path to get there if you don't know where you're going? So we help them create that path. We go over, we do cash flow projections. If they think they're hiring, what that's going to look like, how, can they afford it? If they got PPP money and they're only working at 50% capacity, how long is that money going to last them? Or any loan, a startup sometimes has investor money. How long is that money going to last before you need to go back and ask for another round of investment money? So those are the things that we work with with many of our clients. And that's what we love to do, because at the end of the day, we want our clients to grow. If they don't grow, we don't grow. So, we count on their success, and we have a vested interest, and we love what we do. We love what we do.
I like, Judy, that you've got, you've productized your services. I'm always a huge fan of that. And so you've got a basic, essential, ultimate. So it makes it very accessible. And just, so folks understand, like if someone's like, they're running their own company, but they're trying to run their own numbers, generally, what would you imagine a competent bookkeeper would charge hourly?
So we don't charge hourly.
I know you don't charge hourly, but monthly or annually.
It really, really varies. If you look
just to help someone get an idea that it is accessible.
It is accessible. We have clients at the low end, they're paying $500 a month. We have clients at the higher end, they're paying $5,000 a month. So it really depends on their business. If you have job costing, if you have inventory, those are complex situations. So it's a lot more time and it's a lot more skill involved. We break down with our inventory clients, we're breaking down the cost per unit. They may think they know what they're selling, but if they're selling on Amazon, they need to know the fees that Amazon is charging. Yeah. And they need to, what is my negotiating power here? It's hard to negotiate sometimes with Amazon, but it's not impossible. What is the difference between selling, drop shipping from the manufacturer versus selling FBA and, having your goods stored at Amazon? There's different ways to slice and dice the numbers. So things like that can creep up on you. But, if you're hiring somebody full-time in-house, a good bookkeeper, is going to be $50,000, $60,000 a year. When you outsource, and then you have benefits on top of that. So when you outsource it, because many people don't need a full-time bookkeeper. They only need a bookkeeper or a CFO. Many businesses only need that part-time. So it's usually less expensive to outsource.
All right. Well, Judy DeFeo, your website, again, is Jadde Financial Solutions. It's JADDEFS.com. Anything else that people should look for? Reconcile your banks, do cash projections, try and get a cash flow, and, just make sure you know your numbers and that it makes sense and that you can make business decisions from your numbers. If you can't look at your numbers and make business decisions, something is wrong. Right. Well, Judy, thank you so much. You've got an ebook or a guide. It's the 10 biggest money leaks in your accounting system, which you can download off of Judy's website for free. She also has some other good information about I was just taking a peek at your your blog, and you've got some good stuff on lots of money and accounting and things that are very applicable to life in 2020. So, Judy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me. This is fun.